Okay, Monday, May 4th, 2020. The Blue-Eyed, Brown-Eyed Exercise. After the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. in April of 1968, a third-grade teacher named Jane Elliott decided to try a social experiment to help her students understand prejudice. As you read, take notes on how the teacher performed the experiment and what its results meant for her students. Before you begin, stop and jot. You can pause the audio. Think about the title, the Blue-Eyed, Brown-Eyed Exercise. What experiment do you think the teacher is going to do with her students? Okay, on April 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated or killed. On April 5th, Stephen Armstrong was the first child to arrive in Jane Elliott's third-grade classroom in Riceville, Iowa. He immediately asked why that King, referring to Martin Luther King Jr., was murdered. After the rest of the class arrived, Elliott asked what they knew about Black people. She then asked the children if they would like to try an exercise to feel what it would be like to be treated the way a person of color is treated in America. Jane Elliott decided to make the exercise based on eye color instead of skin color to see what segregation would be like. The children agreed to try the exercise. On that first day of the exercise, she designated the blue-eyed children as a superior group, or the better. Elliott provided brown fabric collars and asked the blue-eyed students to wrap them around the necks of their brown-eyed peers as a method to easily identify the minority group. She gave the blue-eyed children extra privileges, such as second helpings at lunch, access to the new jungle gym, and 5 extra minutes at recess. The blue-eyed children sat in the front of the classroom, and the brown-eyed children were sent to sit in the back rows. The blue-eyed children were encouraged to play with the other blue-eyed children and to ignore those with brown eyes. Elliott would not allow brown-eyed and blue-eyed children to drink from the same water fountain and often chastised or scolded the brown-eyed children or the brown-eyed students when they did not follow the exercise's rules or made mistakes. She often exemplified the differences between the two groups by singling out students who would use negative aspects of brown-eyed children to emphasize a point. At first, there was resistance among the students in the minority group to the idea that the blue-eyed children were better than brown-eyed children. To counter this, Elliott lied to the children by stating that the melanin responsible for making the children blue-eyed was also linked to their higher intelligence and learning ability. Shortly thereafter, this initial resistance fell away. Those who were deemed superior became arrogant, bossy, and otherwise unpleasant to their inferior classmates. Their grades also improved.